Good morning, everybody. Happy New Week. I'm super excited to be joined right here next to me with my recently published author, Melissa Shan. Good morning, Melissa. How are you?
Good morning, Nat. Thank you for having me on this morning for the interview.
Absolute pleasure. I always love seeing people come full circle from the time I met them to them holding their books, and we can see your book there in the background. Blue sky after the storm, guys. I'll give you a little sneak peek of the close-up of the cover. Here we go. I'm just pulling it up on the screen. There it is, just a little bit closer, how I learned to leave the past behind to find peace, happiness, and the real me. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an introduction of who Melissa is, and then we'll get stuck into today's conversation, which is actually titled exactly the title of the book. So Melissa Shand is a registered nurse with over 30 years of nursing experience, and she left nursing at the beginning of the COVID pandemic in 2020, March 2020, unaware that she was suffering with her own anxiety, depression, and PTSD. Months before the pandemic, she had signs of low energy and thought she was just being lazy, but drinking more wine and smoking to feel relaxed, but nothing was bringing her joy, not even running, which was her favorite hobby by far. With no job, nothing driving her, and feelings of burnout and frustration, she chose to write her own story, so she can let go of her past. Publishing a book was not part of her immediate plan, just a sign from the universe saying, do it, and she did exactly that. All right, so Melissa, tell me a little bit about, where did those thoughts, was it like something different to do beyond your career, or where did this all start from?
Basically, Nat, I was at work and unable to do my job anymore, and panic attacks, but I wasn't aware they were panic attacks. I thought I was just had a really severe virus, and the pandemic came and I just pushed myself back to work, and my GP said a couple of times I'd had viruses, and just rolled into the GP office saying I really need time off, and she'd give me 1 or 2 days and I'd just go, okay, is that it? And I couldn't be bothered doing things at home. I couldn't be bothered running anymore. I couldn't be bothered with people, to be honest, and that really upset me because I had no compassion for my patients, let alone myself. And then it sort of evolved into agitation, some shakiness, gut problems, severe gut problems, and I was just like people have said before, it's like a living hell, and your soul's dying inside you, but you don't realize it. So I'd go off to work, and being in a medical profession, my manager just said, oh, you're having a heart attack, you're doing this, we've got to get this, we've got to do that, and we, GPs, we're going off for scans to look for blood clots and all these sorts of things. And deep down, it was parts of it was grief and loss. I'd been on a journey since I was young with anxiety, but I didn't realize it or recognize it. My parents had anxiety, and we had financial trouble as a child, so they lost their home when I was in my teenage years, and we sold our house, cars, everything very rapidly, and we rented. And then I sort of picked up at high school. I'd been bullied in grade 6 by a really good neighbour, and Mum helped me through that a little bit, but she was not as supportive as I wanted her to be. But anyway, we got through it. And then just before this virus, I'd been bullied by a male who was like a father figure to me. And he'd actually, in no uncertain terms, told me to hop off their property. And that was sort of escalating in my body as a threat. And then I went out and ran an 80K run on that stress. Wow. So I did that, and then COVID came. So I think it was just this rapid stress response, but I wasn't recognizing the signs.
And so was writing the book part of a healing journey?
It was probably at my most euphoric rage time that I just couldn't get anyone to understand what I was feeling. And the grief and triggers coming up were my losses to IVF that I'd never faced, like all the embryo transfers, everything that went through in my body. And then my mum's death, which was sudden when she unfortunately bled out and died that way. And I found her being resuscitated. So they're all the things that I had not dealt with and blocked in my life. So I think it was actually an awakening journey, like a transformation that needed to happen. But I was in such a state of distress and overwhelm. I was just grabbing straws and I had nowhere to start. So then I had to backtrack.
Yes.
I backtracked and I contacted you guys because I was with a friend one day who I thought I knew very, very well. And she exposed something about herself. And she goes, "Didn't you know that?" And I said, "No." And I went, "These are too many stories we're hiding and our emotions. And we are just sitting here as girls laughing life off, drinking, smoking, exercising and doing things that aren't healthy for us, but yet we've got these underlying issues that we're all struggling with." So I thought this is really helpful in today's age because I had friends rearing teenagers, not talking about their emotions and feelings, starting to actually have sex with boys and then not really feeling like that boy loved them and all this sort of stuff. So they were bringing up all these things for me as well. So I started evolving my life and shredding the onion basically. And I found a lot of things that were not faced throughout my journey. And that's when I started to say to my husband, "I've got to do this." And he said, "Oh, it's all too much." And I went, "It's not, it's healing and it's actually beneficial for me and other people. I want to do it." He goes, "I don't want you to get hurt. You've just lost a really good friend as well after 16 years. You're already in pain. This might not be the best idea." But I went, "No, grief's grief, loss is loss. I have to face it." So saw you guys, thought time to tell a story, not like a creative bone in my body to write a book or to spell or anything like that. So obviously having a little bit of learning difficulties through my life as well, always going to try hard but couldn't do the work at school, but I always got through. So I thought, I got through a 100K run, I'll get through a book. So I picked up this Facebook page and I had no idea what I was in for, and I just rolled with it. Stu, I had no idea Stu was going to be the interviewer, and then he got all my tears, he got all my, oh my goodness, he goes, "You're not the only one, Melissa." And I went, "Oh God, is there others like me?" And he goes, "Yes, there are." So away I went and I started.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I think it's a transformational journey, and one that I think for you, it's like helped you journal, what was going on and the highly charged emotions.
Highly charged.
And what's your intention like with the book? Like, what do you hope it to do for others? What do you share within it? Maybe give us a little snapshot.
Well, now after 2 years of, like, as I said, I didn't get a lot of confidence back from people. But Martin, my husband, always says that's what your thoughts say. You always say that. You belittle your own capabilities. You said you've done more, like you've done so much, you just can't see it. So I think it's just getting that confidence and energy back in myself first, which I'm really I haven't actually done very much physically because it impacted my body with the aches, pains, and fatigue, to chronic fatigue, basically. So I had to learn to start baby steps and pace. So that's probably something in the future I can teach others, that you can look for these signs, but if you wait for burnout and you burn to a crisp, you have nothing left to give. There is nothing in the tank.
So what are the signs? Give us a little bit of
aging. Like, I just felt like I rapidly aged overnight. I just felt sick to the stomach, to the gut, to the point I couldn't eat or drink properly, but my nursing was saying eat and drink instead of resting and digesting. So I was stuffing and inhaling more food. And what they say is you get this bacterial overgrowth and all those types of things in your gut, and you actually make it worse. So then I think I don't have a diagnosis, but I think I did have leaky gut, and I still have like inflammation in my liver spleen and things like that. So that's all calming down, but it has taken a long time. It depressed me more because the foods I wanted to eat I wasn't enjoying, or I didn't want company. I was dissociating from people. I didn't want to go anywhere. And nobody would come to me, which was a shame. And that's when I got more depressed, because I thought, if I can't come to you for once in my life, and I've always pleased others, why don't people want to come to me while I feel in this depleted state? But I don't understand that part. But you need the connection, you need the people, you need the love before you can love yourself. And that's what you've lost, the love inside for yourself and life. And my husband was great. Once I tied him down and actually said I need help, and he goes, oh, okay, I accept I'm going to be the strong one now. I said, yes, please. And so, but the problem was he was working in a very, very 60 plus hour a week job, and no children in our house. So I couldn't actually ask people to do things. So this is all the things I want to teach people: the support, the emotional support, the help you need to just get to the first platform. And it's like writing a book. You need to get to the first platform. You need someone to hold your hand. There's no one that can, if anyone can do anything, it's like just prepare some food. But I had no one to do that. So my task for the day was to get tea on the table. So that was just a complete, took all my energy just to do that.
Wow.
Yeah. So
any other signs? Like
sleeping a lot, because I could get out of bed like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and that was like I'd been getting up at 5, 6 and going for runs. I'd been going all places with my friends, and they were trail runs, so they were up and down hills. I was exerting myself too far, but I loved it, and it was my life, and it gave me joy, and I couldn't do that, so I could not exercise anymore. So that was another part of me that was taken away. So I just had nothing but to read and write, and that's what I started learning to do. So I sort of think from the universe, it was a sign to say, you don't have to be chaotic and busy to prove you're doing something. Just because you didn't get the chance to be a mum. You did have opportunities to do adoption and fostering, but you chose not to, and that's okay. But I had guilt about that as well. So because everyone would say, oh, but you know, you could have done this, you could have done that. But yes, I had to make my choices for my own reasons. And then I had to grieve my body, because I was beating up my body as well. Because it wasn't good enough to conceive a baby. So I had a lot of things emotionally and psychologically I had to deal with. So these are all things that people go through every day with loss of babies, everything. We're grieving all the time in our lives.
You say that nowadays it gets recognized a lot earlier in life if people have trouble with anxiety and depression. For you, it wasn't the case. You know, what are some of the things that you know about this now?
For anxiety, I think you just have to stand still. There's no good trying to find a new hobby or something that's not joyful for you. You just have to stand still and let the opportunities come to you more. Whereas I was always racing about trying to fit in, and I got very locked into people's ideas. And if my boss said to do something, I'd do it. I actually risked my job at one stage. I went and did something out of my scope of practice, and I almost made things worse. It's all this people pleasing and trying to fit in that you've got to get away from, and just own yourself and your responsibilities and actions. Depression comes with it as well, because you start to believe that you're not good enough, and that your anxiety is actually capturing all your joy that you think other people have got, but it's just your thoughts starting to take over, and the negative spiral just keeps going down like you're a corkscrew in the ground, and you just don't even love yourself. It's a horrible thing. It's putting up this mask.
What are some of your coping strategies now with
well, I had to grow up. At 50, I had to start growing up, change my attitude, look at my past and look at where my parents had come from and why they died at 53 and 63. that you can't burn the candle at both ends.
Yeah.
Not forever. And you have to find healthy habits. So I cut out my drinking just for now, and I actually don't like the taste of it at the moment, but I'm not against having a drink again. But I got rid of the cigarettes because they were just something that just came and went in my life. They were just what we say is those circular patterns that come back, and you're just repeating the same patterns.
Yeah.
You're actually not getting rid of it and throwing it out.
Mm.
So I did that, and then I went on a few detoxes on through the but not juices and things. I just did cutting out a bit of sugar, cutting out coffee for a month, doing the gluten, got rid of that, and then just the dairy. And then I just brought them back in gradually, and I've noticed gluten does not like me at all. So got rid of that completely. And I just drink almond milk. I stick to, there's lots of milks out there that are dairy free. Apparently, I just choose what I want on the day, and just less sugar. Because when you're ultra running, you're living on sugar and carbs. So you actually, if you're not fueling your body properly, you're not actually getting the energy to your cells. So I was feeling like I was going to be either a diabetic, kidney failure, all these things were starting to show up in my body. And it was all making me more depressed. Yeah.
So like I think you summarized it when you started explaining it. I had to grow up, because if I think about kids and young people who, you can eat whatever you want, you're drinking, you're going out, you're partying and all that sort of stuff. And that kind of is not sustainable throughout, all your life, right? You do it for a certain period of time. And we have all met people who are what they call the Peter Pan syndrome. They don't want to grow up and things like that. And then that starts to have that chemical effect on what's going on in our brains and how we feel and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't change it. I'd just go and do it again. And that was the problem. I was just on this continual roller coaster or hamster wheel. And just at work as well. 30 years of shift work, no change. Different roster every week, no routine.
No routine. Yeah. And it's so now do you think you've got you've embedded some good healthy routines, and your mental state is better for it?
My mental state is still a little bit nervy because obviously my whole body, my whole nervous system was dysregulated. I shut down. I did all the what we do is, we fawn in. We just hide our feelings until we can get rid of the shame and the embarrassment and all that sort of thing. So I had to work through all that, and I did that alone. And I just read books and found bits and pieces. I went to a couple of healers, and they helped a little bit, but I just knew I could do it with support. But then I got a few blockages in my chest. The breathing and soreness was still there, because you get all this lymphatic pain and all these different things. So I did some healing work with some people, and that really helped. But now I sort of know that all it is me tensing up again, really. Every time I think I can't do something or get through something, I tense up and I block that I can't do it. So I'm working through those.
Heidi's watching, so she's been watching you, and Sandy says, I'd love to talk about getting rid of gluten. How was that? Was that hard?
Really not that hard. It's just, you just have to read labels and get rid of it, because it's just so inflammatory on our livers. And if we're stressed, it's no good. It just strips things away. And I don't know, Heidi would be able to explain it better, but to live through it, it's just often when we're inflamed and stressed, our bodies are inflamed, and we just can't tolerate these different things, like we're saying, chemicals, reactions in our body. And as we age, it just gets worse. And I think we just have to be more delicate with ourselves and kinder, and just anything solid, you're looking for more softer foods. Like, that's why I can see plant-based is just such a good thing, because you're looking for those softer things that you can break down and they'll actually process through.
You're saying spot on, Mel. Gluten is really tough on the body. I have to say, I haven't gone fully gluten-free, but I would probably say 90% of the time, and I don't find it hard at all. No. I think you just make different choices.
Yeah.
And, if I'm going out and I do want to not look at that stuff, then I'll do it. But it doesn't have to be, I don't think it has to be all or nothing.
No.
Yeah, it can be,
You know when you've had it, really. Like there's different to like a sensitivity is different to an allergic reaction.
Correct.
So yeah. So if you have a sensitivity, you're not afraid of it, but you get a bit moody after it too, I find.
I don't even have a sensitivity or allergic reaction, and I know when I've had it or not. Like, you know what I mean? It's like
it's like having a heavy menstrual period or something, you know.
Yeah. No, I think it is very much about, So what about you running? Are you back into doing some kind of exercise? Not that ultra marathons, but what's your
the adrenal fatigue that I put my body, like the harm I put my body through without recognizing it, has stopped me in my tracks to basically now. So if I go for a walk, I can be out for the count tomorrow. So it's all very much a juggling act at the moment. Yes. So I do these little, I have good days, I have bad days still. Yep. And I can sit here like this, but this afternoon I can do nothing. Like the body just won't allow me to. So it's just, if I went on and started doing, like I noticed if I on the computer too long, or if I'm in a shopping center too long, the lights or stimulation is still a little bit too much for me. So I'm having to work through that. So it is in my radar for the future. Yes. My husband and I did a vision board in January and put it in our bedroom. Yes. So he's finishing up in April, a big contract job that he's about to finish. And we're getting in the car with our swag and our dog, and we're heading off to see where the wind blows. And I think that'll be the best thing for me. And I think after that, I can come back, reset, start some more coaching work, or like I really want to do a coaching course. I really want to express what I've learned and help other people achieve not achieving burnout, and to recognize the signs, because it is really, really dangerous. Really.
Yeah. No, I can see you doing it, but I'm glad you're not rushing to it. That you're kind of gone, I need to take time for myself, like kind of reset, and start to bring in some of these things in a healthy way. Like, you might start doing exercise again, but it'll be in a different.
I do a little, like I do meditation. I have learned to do that. Yeah. And I do a little bit of yoga, but I have to be very careful how much I do of that even.
Heidi's saying, Mel, you're doing all the right things. Rest and recovery are your priorities. Once the adrenal system, hang on, I'm reading the system, have healed, you can get back into your running. You're very inspiring and can really help many people through your experience. Yeah.
Thank you.
Keep documenting. My advice to you, Heidi's giving us her health coach advice. My advice is keep documenting and continuing to journal in the background what's going on in the days, even though the book's out. I think it doesn't stop, whether you start a blog or something like that, even like with your travels and all that kind of stuff. That would be a really good thing, because then you don't lose or forget things. Because
we've got our dog, who's our baby instead of a baby, and she's 11 and a half. So we're going to lose her in the next couple of years. So I think this is kind of my preparation for that as well. So we've got a pram for her. She's an English Staffy, and she's like a tough little dog, like me, tough little person. So we've got a pram for her so we can go for walks and things. So we're really looking forward to that.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. I my very first coach and mentor said to me, when I wrote the first book, and this was in my first year of doing anything like with the business, and he said, make sure you sit down and you write down what you did and how you did all of this, and I didn't think much of it, but I kind of just followed his advice, and I just wrote 5 or 10 pages of my journey. And who would have known that 12 years later, all of that would have unfolded? This is, I think, what I'm seeing for yourself as well. So, yeah. So
And
how did you find the
that's what I
process?
couldn't see a year ago. I couldn't see anything. There was dead nothing.
Yeah.
Now, like 12 months on, like even at my 50th February last year, I had no life. I just went out and I drank wine. I got in the bus and I was sick, and I was actually mortified at myself. And I knew that was the end. It was like, this has to go. This is my new Mel.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I have definitely seen you change and grow, you know, and get better through the process. So how did you find the, you know, support and the journey of actually bringing?
Wow, those girls, Viv and Julie had their work cut out with me, but I was in the middle of a crisis. So I don't beat myself up about that anymore. My toing and froing from my editing went on and on. I couldn't spell check for crap because I couldn't see anything. My mind was not even with me really. But to actually, like my husband said, you don't do things in halves, you just go for it. And not many people publish books. And I said, and probably not during a mental health crisis. So I did it, and I wanted to do it from the heart. So I wanted to do it as it was happening. So that's basically what I did.
Yeah, you did amazing. And I think, you know, sitting here today, you know, is just another part of the journey that, you know.
We are all human. We're all normal.
Yeah, totally. So where can people get your book?
My book can be melissashand.com.au, and at the landing page I have.
Yeah, I'll share the page. So Melissa spelt normal, Shand, SHAND.com.au. And there it is. There she is. And the beautiful book, a little bit about what it's about, and then Melissa's contacts and all that sort of stuff. So if you get it directly from her, certainly she will we'll sign it for you and ship it across. Also, it can be found on Amazon and all your good online resellers as well. I can't wait to see this journey unfold, Melissa. Keep tapping into community and do what you can.
Yep.
And you know, we're here, you know, when we say, you know, that when you join our family, it tends to be for many, many years on end, because we all grow and learn and continue expanding, you know. So it's only just the beginning, and I can't wait to kind of explore where you are. But totally, I think you should definitely do a coaching qualification so you can help more people.
Oxygen mask on first. Do not, any nurse or health professional out there, anybody who's a mum, please put your oxygen mask on first, because you have none. Like I put my PPE gear on at work and I had nothing to breathe. No air. I just died.
I can talk to people, like you said to me earlier before we got even on the call, you know, we put on a smiley face, or, you know, and we don't really express. Maybe I would suggest find the ones that you can really like open up to. You're not going to open up to every other person, but you need to have someone, or, you know, 2 or 3 people that you can go to and say, I'm having a tough time.
And it'll be often the irritable, aggressive ones. They're not doing it as harm, but they're doing it to cope.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
I agree. Thank you for your time this morning, and thank you for entrusting us to bring your book baby into the world. And it's been, I think you've been a pleasure to work with, and, you know, dealing with everything and doing the book. I mean, anything is possible for those people who say, I can't do it because this is going on. That you said, I'm going to do it and come out the other side. So I wish you
what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
I think we had that as one of our, that was the last masterclass. I mean, the song just reminded me of the mindset masterclass that we did in January. So I have an amazing week ahead, and I'd love to catch up with you for another interview, maybe in 12 months time, you know, once you've done all bits and pieces, and see where you're at.
I'm going to jump on the couch a few times and I'll start to.
Yes, definitely. I want to see you there regularly and turning up to things and just absorbing. You know, you don't have to take action on stuff. You can just learn. And
I think it's just just absorbing still and doing a little bit of action.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Have an amazing week ahead. And guys,
everyone,
smash it out. Go find your
smash it out.
song. Yeah, bye.
Yeah.